computer. Where is Grain? Where is Grain now? I already clicked on Grain.
Joining call. Recorded joining call.
Yeah. But, oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. And still not seeing the little button for Grain, which is rather odd. But anyway, go ahead, Beena. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Hello. And good morning, Syl.
Good morning,
Good
Beena.
morning.
Good morning, Beena. Thank you. Good morning to you too. Good morning.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And how are
Massive
you?
good mornings. I'm very well. I'm very, very, very well. Just thinking lots of profound thoughts. And we started to
Oh,
talk
yes.
about this. I was talking about
Yes.
two intents that I had for, uh, well, all of my adult life. And some of it goes into
Okay.
my teenage life too. That did materialize. That you could say,
Oh.
I'm going to let you comment on it in a minute, but you could say that these intents are kind of, you might call them a bit, I guess not magical, but or fantastical, but or extreme, where they are theoretically possible, but in general understanding, small chance. Yeah, they was very small chance intents, even though they're not considered impossible. They're just very small chance. Both of them have absolutely materialized in the most incredible way that you can imagine, right? So this low probability intent that is really wonderful and awesome and magical if it comes in and fantastic and profound, etc., 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 right? Two very powerful ones have come to be. There's a third one. That's what I was going to tell you.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, and I put a lot of energy into it. And so I'm still the 2 out of 3 gives me great hope. Yes, that they will come. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Yes, I'll tell you more
Wow.
details about that. I don't want to go into that because I want to you just share whatever you're going to share. Yeah. That's all I wanted
Okay.
to say. That don't give up on your intents. That right? It's why unbending intent and patience. Why patience is such a superpower. It takes a long time. Like in my case, it's, let's see, the one intent probably started when I was, wow, in my early teens. Yes, when like
Oh, wow.
basically started when I was 10. Yes, or maybe a little bit later, 10, 11, 12, when I started to think things through a little bit more because it's a consequential intent. Yeah, so around about 12, that's when I became aware that uh, that what I wanted wasn't feasible because I was too young. Yes, and just wasn't going to happen realistically. Yes, yes. I mean, at least in the culture and environment that I was in, it wasn't. It could, but theoretically could, but very, very unlikely. So I had to wait, and as a result of that, okay, I waited, and eventually it came. Right. So this is important to understand. With patience and intent, that you might want something, but you need to be in the right space to be able to get it and appreciate it. Yes. And even if you are, sometimes the world just takes a long time to rearrange it to bring you what you want because what you want is rare. Yes. Like all rare things, it takes time and energy and effort to acquire them, right? So be aware. Be aware. If you have powerful intents, be prepared to wait if need be. Yes. And the waiting is worth it. That's the other point that I want to make. The waiting is worth it. Yes, would it have been nice to have it earlier? Sure. Now, did I get benefits from not having it? You know what I'm talking about, but I don't need to spell it out. I don't want to get into details because it doesn't really matter.
Oh, yes.
I
It
got
doesn't make any difference.
incredible benefits from not having it. It forced me to do things that had I had it, I would not have bothered. Yes. So this is a big deal.
Wow.
A big deal. I would not have learned and acquired and practiced the skills that I did from not having. Yes. And that is the third intent. It's very much pertinent to this, and we'll come to that. Yeah. Yeah, and another day, another time. All right, let me I'm talking and I'm not connecting things, so let me connect it.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Of course, this is super interesting, and you know that, okay, my whole life, um, from the abstract point of view and from the very local, uh, I am like everything is, and maybe it is just the way I see things, the materialization of intents and having intent and having the consequences of that. I have been focusing on, but again, um, I was never been into this visualization or having a dream vision board or anything, because for me these are the completely different things. I'm not saying that these things are not working, useless. They might work, of course, for some people, yes, because everybody has their own understanding and their own emphasis and their own way of thinking. Very much depends on the thought process. So for me, every intent, when I'm saying intent, it's capital I intent. Because sometimes we assume
Yes.
that we have this intent. Oh, I'm very much really keen to have this. I'm desperate to get this thing done, or this situation, or this, whatever it is. But mostly it doesn't. With
Yeah.
my personal experience, I met someone who was saying, like, day and night, I was listening to her, and she was saying that I'm going to die without him. And I'm looking for something which is like, okay, just do whatever, like try to find something for me. And she was saying that, okay, there is no life after this. and
Wow.
and it was a horrible situation for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That person was completely not into that, and she was continuously saying that, okay, this is the end and nothing. And it was not for a few days, it was going on for a month, and then for more few months, and then a year, and then more than a year, and same intensity, same, uh, everything. And and I was like, for me it was okay. For some other ways of understanding things, it was not that serious, it was not that, or maybe she was in some illusion, whatever.
Hmm.
And 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 it was happening, and she
Oh,
keeps
sorry
saying
to interrupt
this.
you. Norma's here. Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma. Brilliant. Brilliant. Hello, Norma. Wonderful. 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 Hello, Norma. Glad you're here. Love you, Norma. Continue, please, Beena. Sorry. Otherwise, you may go a long story and it takes a long time before I get
No,
a chance to say hello. I don't want to
no, 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 no.
lose that chance.
And no problem. Hello, Norma.
Yeah.
And just after some, okay, few days ago, she was talking to me, she was crying, she was like all sort of the nonsense going on. And then after 1 week, she called me, she sent me a message, and she says that, oh, I met a wonderful guy. And I was like, what? And then she says, oh yes, it's all wonderful and all that. So what she was saying, I'm not criticizing anyone, I'm not saying that, but sometimes we assume that this is the intent in our life, but actually it is not. So when you have intent, capital I intent, it is going to be a completely different thing. You will be at peace because you will have innate trust that it is going to happen sooner or later. You will not be desperate. You will not get into like any nonsense. You will
Hmm.
not even, I must say that, okay, at least for personal, my personal thing, you will not compromise on anything other than that. You will not get settled with that. No, no. And even if by any chance you will get involved in something, you will immediately get out of it because you will understand that this is not what it is. So when you have that intent and the clarity of intent, then it is going to be your part of life, your part of you. It becomes part of you. You will not get be like, okay, oh yes, all emotional, desperate, out of desperation, trying everything, doing everything. No, you will be just in the process that, okay, yes, I
Oh.
know that it is going to happen sooner or later. And this desperation actually leads us to get into some not so clear things in our life. People get like, okay, this is the thing, this is the thing. Trying is not bad. Of course, we do try.
Yeah.
This is what attunement is. That, okay, yes, I trust that this might be. But as soon as we realize that this is not aligned with this thing, we get like, okay, yeah, now I understand that. Okay, yes. Why universe put me on this path? Now I need to learn that. And this is what you were doing. At least what I know. You were doing that. Okay, yes, that path is also necessary. For me, now when I look, of course, not at that time. When I look back, I understand that why few things were not earlier than they actually were, because I
Oh.
was not prepared. I was not prepared for that. That opportunity could be completely wasted
Mm.
if that would come earlier, because I was not prepared. So all the delays and everything happens for me. Again, it is very personal. Uh, for me, is I'm not prepared for that. That
Yeah.
is the only criteria I feel that.
There you
Whenever
go.
I feel,
There you go. We aren't prepared. We think we are, but you know, yeah, 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 yeah. One second, one
we are
second,
not.
one second. Okay, there we go.
Yes,
That being prepared is very important. We tend
yes,
to overestimate ourselves so often
exactly,
because our
exactly.
culture kind of pushes us towards doing that. And also because we haven't learned patience and perseverance and discipline and all the stuff. And the task is
Exactly.
so much bigger than we imagine that that's why we overestimate. However, that overestimation actually gets us onto the path. If we didn't overestimate ourselves, we wouldn't tackle this
Yes,
ridiculously
yes,
huge, complex,
yes,
mammoth, overwhelming task.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So it has its benefit. Just don't get locked into anything. When you realize, oh my goodness, I've overestimated my ability to do this, then you're already on the path. And oh, okay,
Exactly.
it's a big deal, but I'm already in it. I'll just continue. Right? Yeah, it's powerful, powerful,
Exactly.
powerful, powerful.
100% this is what happened with me.
It's so wonderful. Sorry,
Really?
Beena, to jump in
Oh,
there.
really?
Just struck me what you were saying was so. I shouldn't say sorry.
No, exactly. Exactly.
It's
This is what
appropriate.
happened.
It's appropriate.
A bit of overestimation really
Yeah.
helped me.
Exactly,
Otherwise, I would
exactly.
never be able to
But you
do
didn't
that.
get stuck
Yes.
in it. That's the key point.
No.
That's why appropriateness is so crucial. Why it is the core of the philosophy of appropriateness, right? Which is a practical living philosophy. Yes. When we apply appropriateness, we don't get stuck in things like overestimation. It was appropriate to get me going. Yes. And I've got to do this. I mean, any hero in a typical Euro tale, right? Or any
Hmm.
tale or a story that's a profound story that's not even heroic, just any story. If you really look at it closely, yes, the person overestimated themselves in the beginning, yes, but then they soon came to realize, oh my goodness, I did this, right? And then you have all the challenges and stuff. But that overestimation at least gives them the confidence to start. Yeah. Now, good
Yes.
heroes
Yes.
don't get stuck in that, and then they have this comeuppance, as it were, and they have this the high, and then they go the low, and then they come back up again. Through the actual doing, they come to justify their initial inappropriate overestimation. Right?
Hmm.
They get forced through the whole heroic adventure or the story. They get forced to live up to it. Right? So it's like an inadvertent intent. It's quite magical how things work, yeah. But this ability to be appropriate, right? When you're faced with the reality, you have to readjust. You have to readjust, yes. And that's why when we look at appropriateness and we understand the power and you start to investigate, well, what is appropriate? Oh, honesty, self-honesty. Without self-honesty, you're never going to make that adjustment. You honestly thought that you could do it. Okay, cool. You weren't being inappropriately at that time overestimated. You just didn't know any better, right? So it was appropriate. Your estimation, which you didn't at that time think it was an overestimation. You thought this was just okay. I can do it, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it was appropriate,
That is,
right? But
that is the magic of
appropriateness.
overestimation.
Exactly. Appropriateness leads to the adjustment because of self-honesty. And how is it not appropriate to be honest and self-honest? Yeah, it always is. Right?
Yes.
So this is just when it all you understand how it all works together. It's very profound. Talking about all things working together. Topic for Sunday will be the mind map.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
make this the topic for Sunday as a a practice session for the podcast interviews. Yes. So I'm going to practice sharing it, and I'm not going to confine it to a half an hour. I'll go into it in detail, because by going it into in detail, once you, I've done this many times before, of course, but it's been a while. But when you go into detail, you can always scale it down. But if you practice short, and you're not, it's harder to go longer, right? But when you have lots, you can easily condense, because if you're practicing abstract categorizing, grouping. So I want to see how, because there's a lot to it, but I want to see if I do explain it in detail, if the half an hour, how much I go over, you see, and then I can, once I have the practice of it, I can see how much I need to scale it down, right? I have this awareness of it. So I'll just explain it fully, and then from there I can see how long it took, more or less, and scale it appropriately in the interviews, because I think this is an important thing to share. Yes, because it's
Yes.
the mind map of Way-of-Impeccability and the philosophy of appropriateness, the A plus philosophy, all of it, right? It's a very profound thing. It's a really, really big deal. This I cannot emphasize. When you see it, you'll see why. You're like, oh my goodness, wow, wow, wow. Right? Everybody I've shared it with had that thing, and I don't share it very often, actually. I gotta be careful. My eyes look a bit crazy when I go like this. I just saw it on the video. The video's got that 2 second delay. But see, now when I did it in the again, just to illustrate, then I didn't have that crazy look in my eye. Yeah, it seems to me, I don't know if anybody else sees it or not. Just seems to me. I don't mean to be vain, and I'm not being vain. It just strikes me as amusing, you know. Yeah. All right, let's get to today's what we're doing, right? Beena, you have any more to share? I
Yes.
mean, share as long as you like.
Okay.
I'm not
No, no,
hurrying up.
no, no,
No
no.
hurry
That
ever.
that was because you shared something, and because this is
Okay,
exactly what we were discussing before.
okay, okay.
And of course, this is a big, huge part of our
Yeah,
lives. I can
yeah,
say our lives, because this is happening with me, and of course, I love this.
yeah,
And this is how I see things. Okay, and of course, Sil is someone who shared things about the intent, the magic, and the power of intent in a different way. It's
yeah,
not limited to only law of attraction ideas. It is not
yeah.
limited to any kind of like a
I
movement
don't have
stuff.
any
It is
connection to law of attraction. I'm not very
that
keen on
this
it
is
at all, because they kind of
it
get it
is
a bit
okay.
wrong.
Some
Yeah,
I know that some few ideas they have, but of course it
yeah,
is corrupted. It is
correct,
something like, okay,
correct.
maybe they are not clear.
Yeah,
Who knows? Okay, I don't criticize anyone for that, but because for me, it is not going to fit for everyone. Everybody
yeah,
has a different.
yeah,
So when Sil shared things, he has a completely different understanding, because the
yeah,
attunement is something like, okay, is missing in law of attraction, and of course whatever they want to call it. The
yeah,
attunement part is missing there. But attunement is from Sil's and of course his way of impeccability and other bonus project. When I'm trying to understand this, attunement plays a huge deal,
yeah,
and also that by be with attunement doesn't mean that you are just going to just sit idly and then just not doing anything. Attunement is very much dependent on you, your
absolutely,
prompt
absolutely.
your prompt your prompt decisions, your dedication towards a lot of things involved
Yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Attunement, being with attunement, why attunement doesn't mean that, okay, it is going to just jump out of the sky, and then you will get it something like out of nowhere. No.
yeah.
So it
Attunement
is
is integrative. Yeah,
yes, yes. So please continue. This topic is very huge, and we can of course always have this thing.
yeah,
So please
yeah.
continue with the book reading.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna do our readings of. They're not strictly speaking capital R readings, because we're not.
No.
Yes, we will, when appropriate, break it down, but we're reading the articles for the intent of uh, checking the articles to make sure they're okay, and to share them, get feedback as appropriate. I mean, like Norma, I'm very keen to hear your opinions on these articles, right? And like Ramsey was here, would have liked to hear. He didn't share, but I would like to hear. And also, Norma, while we're about it here, uh, I'm keen to hear your perspectives on Biella, what these articles show and reveal about Biella. In other words, if we listen to not only what Biella says, but to how she shares. Yes. So not just what she says, but how she says. When we listen to how she says, we get to understand more about Biella. We get to form an idea about her, and an impression of her, an understanding of her, right? How she comes at things, who she is, what her intents are, what's important to her, what her values are, etc. Right? And lots of things like we start to see. Well, I won't elaborate what all we see because I want to hear what you see when you listen to how Biella shares. Yes, this is a very powerful thing, and I put it in the introduction, the about Biella section in the beginning. It's a very important way of listening, right? To put that ear on of listening to the how as well as the what. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, Avina, will you read, please? I want to make some more coffee and have a rusk as well.
Okay.
I'm hungry. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's good.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
I'm keen for your perspectives, opinions, questions, ideas, comments, takeaways, anything. Not just you,
Yes,
Norma,
and
but also you.
a treat can be for me that someday Norma would come on Zoom and read all these things with me.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Okay. So, yeah, I'm getting
You're
calls
free,
from,
Norma.
no, no, I'm getting a call from Walgreens to say I've got the prescription, which I don't have. It's like in some other place in here. I think it's a scam of some kind. Anyway, they didn't
Mm.
ring very long. See, there they
Okay.
stopped. So also implies it's a scam. If it was really for real, they'd keep ringing, longer than 4 rings or 5 rings. Anyway. All right, I'm listening, Beena. I'm listening. Please, please read. Yeah, I'd love it if Norma came and read. Norma has a wonderful, beautiful voice. That would be very nice. It'd be very nice. Yeah. All nice people have nice voices. It's not the
Not
voice itself that's
necessarily.
nice. It's them that's nice. Which, you know. Anyway.
Yes. Okay. Freedom first. Healthy, wealthy, happy, and free. Which is more important?
Interesting.
This name is quite interesting, dear Adua. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that.
Yeah.
Dear
People
Adua,
from all over the
I would
world
have,
ask Biella questions. It's quite brilliant and magical and excellent. Yeah.
yes, I would have to say free. Let me just throw wealth out right away. There are plenty people who are not wealthy who are happy, and many miserable wealthy people. It's a strange belief, really, that we need wealth to be happy, or that it's important in some way, especially since the majority in the world do just fine without it. Health falls, okay, health falls into a similar category, although certainly it can make a much more impactful difference. It very much depends what we mean by health. Health has considerable variation, as in levels of fitness, energy, and so on. When it truly matters is if there is unhealth,
Mm,
illness, disease,
mm,
or injury. These certainly matter as they affect us directly, physically, and are not a matter of perspective or attitude.
mm,
Which brings us to happy and free. Here I would say free is the most important and the most important of all four. My reason is as follows. One could not be free and still be happy, same as we can be happy if not wealthy or fully healthy.
mm,
No restrictions. Okay. No restrictions. But if we are free, this to me means we would be free from poverty, free from lack of health, free from restriction, concern, worry, limitation. Freedom, thus, to me, automatically means happiness. Freedom means any limitations
mm,
on our happiness are removed. While we can be happy not being free, healthy, or wealthy, our happiness will still have restrictions on it. There is still some room for improvement. But if we are free, then our happiness is unrestricted. To be free, one would be free also from desires, and as such, wealth ceases to be effective. Wealth matters not at all those free from inappropriate desires. We still need appropriate desires, such as a desire to extend our awareness, for instance, and the desire to be free.
mm,
Freedom, power.
mm,
Freedom extends us. extends us, enables us, opens possibilities and opportunities we otherwise might not even imagine. And thus, when free, the range and scope of our happiness can extend into areas such as rapture, bliss, and elation.
Wow.
Freedom is by far the most important to me, Biella.
Wow. Wow. Beena, before we comment on this, there's kind of a
Hmm.
lot in there. It's very cool. Were there any typos or punctuation or anything I need to correct? Any editing needed? Because I
No,
wasn't reading along with you. I was listening because I'm busy making coffee. So I was just listening.
at least not I know.
You didn't see anything?
No.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Beena? Norma? What do you think? What do you think?
Okay. No,
Or
Mama, I don't know.
anybody listening, please comment in chat there in the comments, right? Share if anybody's listening. Even if you're listening afterwards, doesn't matter. You know, I'm keen for feedback here. I'm keen for feedback. Feedback is important. What's your
Yes.
takeaway,
Okay.
Beena?
Okay. So when Biala is saying about free, and she is elaborating freedom of
Hmm.
being free, as it includes like almost everything.
Correct.
Then
By
what's the difference
implication.
between
Yes.
yes. So what's the difference between freedom and happiness?
They're very much synonymous. Yes. Although you can be, I guess, happy and not free, but free, if you really are free, it's very hard not to be happy, right? So
Mhm.
when you say the difference is about including how they are, the one includes the other, but the other doesn't include the one, right? So that's the difference.
Hmm.
So freedom is more encompassing, it's greater, it's larger than happiness. Yes, because you certainly can be happy and not free. Yeah, but
Hmm.
but when you are free, if you're not happy, well, then you're not really free because you're not free from whatever's causing you unhappiness. See?
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, again, when you say you can be happy when you're not free, uh, that that's accurate, yes, but there's also an implication that you are not necessarily as happy as you could be, or that you're not happy all the time, that there's limitations on your happiness. But when you're free, no limitations, right? So this is the difference, right? That
I
happiness
personally feel
just on
that
its own is kind of got that implication of conditionality involved. Yeah.
also that if someone is not free and they are happy,
Yeah.
by implication, most likely they are going to stay in that situation.
Correct. Correct. There's an implication of happiness without freedom being vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're in a bubble. Sure, you're happy now because conditions are excellent. You know, it's like the grazing animals, yes, or whatever. Any, they graze and they're all happy and everything is wonderful, except when drought comes. Yeah, they can't adapt. Yeah, they can't become browsers. They can't lift their heads up those couple of inches to browse, and so they starve. It's fascinating. Yeah. In other words, their happiness is conditional on specific conditions. And when those specific conditions aren't present, then, well, they're not only unhappy, but they die. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, very important that our happiness is not conditional, not in a bubble, in other words.
Yes.
You like the
Because,
article, Bina?
well, yes, and I'm thinking about it.
You know,
Also that, also, also about the idea of health.
yes,
Because,
yes.
because I have seen people, or of course, it's a common thing, I guess, I assume, that people throughout their life, they're continuously in search of and implementing or like including things like, oh, this is superfood. It will
Mm.
make you healthy.
Yeah,
This is good for your health. This is you need to do to be healthy. This is you should do. This is you must
yeah,
avoid. This is you should avoid. and all sort of things. It's a very complicated and also consequential emphasis they keep doing for their whole life, throughout their life. No freedom actually,
Hmm.
continuously in search of something,
Yeah.
which like, okay, yeah, that will be. And then it's a wrong emphasis, sorry to say.
Right.
Saying that, okay,
If
you
you're
one must
searching, it
be.
implies you don't have.
Exactly. And
Don't have enough.
when it comes to and people who are like really a flag bearer of law of attraction and positive
Yeah.
mindset,
Yeah.
they when it comes to healthy food and choices, they forget about everything
No.
completely. All the rules, all the ideas just completely out of the window, and then they will criticizing the food. That it is, this is I'm not going to eat. This is going to this, and and it's a very common thing. Everybody is like that.
No.
Mostly, of course, not everybody. But I'm just saying that, okay, for a majority of people, which is which what Biala is sharing with us, that it's a
No.
lack of help. If I don't have, like, mostly in a young time, like, okay, when we are actually not having any pain, not having any critical diseases, we don't consider it as healthy.
Yeah. 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 No, Norma, I wanted to comment and commentate. Yes. Well, I'll have to come on Zoom to commentate because that would, be simultaneous. But sure, if you want to commentate in chat, that would be quite interesting. But no, feel free, Norma. Feel free.
Oh yes, oh yes, as you like, as you like.
Wrong.
Well, um, and this is the emphasis on lackness, on searching of something,
Yeah.
is counterproductive, at least in my understanding. And this is what I was sharing with Mama, because my mother, she's using more. Recently, she started using. Uh, you can say that, okay, smartphone.
Well.
Situation, and like, okay, it's been like more than a year now, but mostly it was like, okay, she
Yeah.
was just watching videos and dramas, and playing games on it. This is what she was doing, and
Which
then of
I
course
just find it's just so fascinating to think of your mom playing games. It's just
oh yes,
brilliant.
oh
I
yes,
love it. I love it. It's too brilliant. Go,
and she's
mama.
getting
Go,
reward.
mama.
She
No.
she's getting rewards on it, and they're simple games, but she's getting rewards, and she's feeling like, oh, proud, very proud about it.
Oh,
Okay,
good
look
one.
what I got. So this is good, and but and of course, after a few months, she realized that, okay, I can do more, and of course we all were encouraging, and then she started using YouTube, and of course, like, using by I mean that she's watching other
No.
things other than dramas. So they started with music and poetry, and then it was into short reads.
Hmm.
And that was like, okay, well, this is superfood. If you will eat this, it is going to change your life. It is going to just make you, I don't know, whatever they were saying that, okay, all sort of things. And Mama was like, oh, it's a simple food. What about this? And okay, we must eat this. We must include this in our diet. And I was like, Mama, you always emphasize on keeping things as simple as possible.
Hmm.
Okay, not processed food. She's a clean process and the mix of things. That's her idea. That, okay, you must have, like, okay, yeah, fruits, they're delicious, have it, but it's not like that you have to eat every single day. No, it's not, no, nothing hard and fast. Milk is good, okay, yeah, for her, of course, vegans will not agree with that, but it's not like everyday thing. So lentils, yes, and so we have quite a balanced diet according to my mother's idea. But now she because she's new into this, and she was saying that, and Mama say that, okay, but I was asking Mama that, okay, how mm, long ago you forgetting about the simple wheat bread? And she says, what about this? And I said, okay, okay, just look at, start searching for that, okay, how nutrition value of wheat.
Hmm.
And she said, why? Yeah, because you'll be amazed by that,
Oh,
and you don't
yeah. How
consider.
it changed. Yeah. Yeah.
And also the turmeric, because Pakistanis and Indians and Bengalis, mostly the subcontinent people, they do have turmeric in every single day on
No.
almost all the dishes, 99% dishes. We do
No.
take turmeric. For us, it is not a miracle thing, because our immune system and body is used to it. And that's
No.
why we do have some benefits also on regular basis, which you don't consider. But for the West, it was a new thing. And now you will see tons of videos just about the turmeric and all the details, like, okay, how amazingly miraculous thing it is. So it's all about emphasis, the way we perceive things. The lack of emphasis, like in our case, subcontinent people, they don't consider the turmeric in their food, in their dishes. They want to take it as a pinch of it in a half cup of milk in the night so they can have some benefits of it.
Wow.
I'm not getting it, the value is still they will get benefit, but it's all about emphasis. This is our regular thing. This is our regular thing. Even the chilies, which mostly people say, oh no, but it's a pure vitamin C, and we do have a dose of vitamin C every single day. So okay, it's again it is coming back to the what Biella was saying about lack of health is an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's
Right.
shifting our focus and
Right. Right.
emphasis
And now you
from
are
not.
listening to how Biella shares that she
Yes,
brings in this alternative perspective. The question says healthy, wealthy, happy, and free. Healthy is a very relative term, depends on what you do, but unhealthy, unwealthy, unhappy, now it starts to be a different focus, right? Changes the whole logic, right? But also,
exactly.
I like how how Biella goes more. Yes? She says
Yes,
freedom extends us,
yes,
or as Norma likes to say, expands. Yes, right, Norma?
yes,
Freedom expands us, extends us, enables us, opens possibilities and opportunities we otherwise might not even imagine. I want to put here expands because it's the way of impeccability Moreness project expansion, self-expansion Moreness project, right? So expansion is important. Freedom extends us, expands us, enables us, opens possibilities and opportunities we otherwise might not even imagine. And thus, when free, the range and scope of our happiness can extend into areas such as rapture, bliss, and elation. That's a profound statement. It's
it
a big
is.
deal. Whenever do we even use these words? Okay, bliss has become sort of a common word. This is my bliss, yeah? But I don't think when you go back into the origins of the word bliss, it's way more than people mean it to say, oh, this is my bliss. But they're just saying, this is, I really like this, right? That's what they mean, right? But rapture, elation, ecstasy, there's more similar to this, right? But when you start to think of that relative to happiness, we say, "Oh, wow, wow! And you know what? I was pursuing happiness, but okay, I had happiness, but I certainly didn't have elation. I certainly didn't have rapture or bliss or ecstasy." Yeah. To, what I'm saying is, what I like about Biella is that she opens the door to more. Yeah, it's pure moreness right there. Yeah. Yes, we pursue happiness, but joy to me is more than happiness. Certainly, rapture, bliss, and elation is. Yeah, reverence, awe. Many of them. Powerful stuff. Okay. Well, no editing,
Yes.
no spelling. All the capitals are there. All right. This is an important chapter. Can you still read, Beena? Tell me when you need to go eat. I'm nearly done with my eating here.
Okay.
Well, I'll answer them. Please read. Please read.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is something I need to make it full picture. Okay. That was the end.
Yeah. When it says
I
Biella,
didn't.
that's the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's a PS, but I don't think there was a PS there because I scrolled all the way down. Oh, where am I? There we go. No, but when the hashtags are always the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this is the one now. Life motivation. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Your chat is cutting it off.
Say again.
Your chat is cutting my page.
Oh, which set?
There
Oh,
is,
this.
there is a
Oh,
screen on top of it.
oh,
There is a
okay.
screen on top of it. So yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Hang on. Make
Life
sure.
motivation.
There we go. There we go.
Life motivation.
Yeah.
What is the biggest motivation of our life? Wow. Like, okay, it's not personal. It's like biggest motivation of our life.
Yes.
That is a
Yes.
question. Interesting. Okay. Dear Emerald, motivation varies so much from individual to individual. And if we examine why, it seems random. However, and since you ask what our motivation, wow, okay, yes, motivation is, that's an entirely different matter. Temporary motivations, no matter how long they might last, are different to life motivation.
Yeah. Oh.
What's the difference? Okay, regular motivation typically applies to its field of influence only, whereas life motivation applies to absolutely everything we do. Hmm.
No.
What's the difference? Regular motivation typically applies to its field of influence only, whereas life motivation applies to absolutely everything we do.
That's important that
Like
you
for
reread that sentence, Beena.
yes,
That sentence is absolutely crucial to the whole article. That difference, to understand that difference.
yes. Like for instance, the innate motivation we have to be happy. This motivation can become distorted when we latch onto misbeliefs such as ego, attention, superiority, dominance, and so on. Those might seem like they can lead to happiness, and many mistakenly believe so, but they are counterproductive in the longer term.
Mm.
They only seem like a way to achieve happiness because of ignorance and unawareness.
Absolutely. Now look at this as a nice. It just happened to be so. Just universe, this attunement. That this was the next question that Biella answered. Right. I have them in order. There are a couple that at the end of this that are out of order, but this one, the number here, 17, it's also chapter 17, but they coincide. But yeah, we're going to have chapter 36, and then this will be chapter 37, but it's actually the 57th response that Biella makes, right? So it's just a little. I'll probably take these numbers out just for me right now, so I can keep track of things. But it just happened to be that we get this motivation question where Biella is tackling happiness. Now I don't remember how long there was a gap between the two. But usually they quite independently written. Right? So it's kind of cool though that we had this focus on happiness, and here we get it again, and now we get to get in the inside of it, right? Via motivation. It's very cool, very very cool. Yes, I love this. I love this. So just by the by. Okay, so we were
Yes.
on that first section, life motivation, as opposed to, because you said the biggest motivation. I'm assuming Amirul is a she. I don't know. Maybe it's a he. I don't know. Do you know this name? Have you met it, seen it before, Veena?
No, but
No.
this can be a Bengali name because
Yeah.
they use Arabic names like Amirul Hassan in
Ah.
a different part. Amirul Hassan in Arabic is different, like
Yeah.
Amir
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Sul Hassan.
So
But they
anyway,
use
I'm just saying I don't know
Amirul.
if it's male or female or anything. I just okay. Amirul.
Then it could be if it is Bengali name, then it could
Yeah.
be male.
All right. Well, anyway, so I'll just say what is, they say,
Yes.
what is the biggest motivation of our life? That our makes a very big difference here, as Biala already said. Now we're going to see more, right? So
Yes.
let's see. All about awareness. All right. Please keep going.
Okay. All about awareness. This brings us to the biggest motivation of our lives, which is the development and enhancement of awareness. I will
Yeah.
even go as far as saying that developing and enhancing awareness is the point and purpose and meaning of life.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
look closely at unhappiness, misery, cruelty, abuse, any kind of badness, what lies at the root of it all? Unawareness. I love this, that how the you
Yeah.
is not italics.
Yeah.
The rest is
Yeah.
yes.
You know how that happens. All right, all right. We'll have to reread from the beginning of this again, but I'll show you exactly how that happens. Okay, watch how that happens. Okay, so we've got this. This is likely. Yep. Okay, take this off. No, now it doesn't want to take itself off here. Come on. There we go. Okay, that's how it was
Okay.
originally. Yes. So now I
Yes.
come along and okay, unawareness must be italicized. Oh, I need to make. Oh, come on now. It's all weird now. All of a sudden, there we go. There we go. All right. All right. So now I've got it like this. Yeah. Now what? Look what happens when I change the U to
Yes.
capital. See, it's regular. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've learned this. I didn't know it then, but so when I change this now, right? If I do Control Z and I go back to it, there we go. So what I do now is if you type it inside like this, then it's capitalized, and then go back and remove, then it's there. Isn't that fascinating, Beena?
Oh, yes.
That's how that came to be. Just I love to solve little mysteries like that. It's anomalous, and I'm impressed that you noticed it. That's very cool. Yes, it's very cool that you noticed it. Yeah, because when we can notice to that degree of granularity, you're gonna be surprised because the sublime resides in the mundane. It's just a perspective shift away. So, in other words, the sublime is everywhere. But if we don't have this ability to perceive to that degree of granularity, we can miss the sublime in the mundane. And also we can just miss very significant and important things, right? So much power in detail. Yes. Now we don't want to get overwhelmed with it either, but you must have the ability. Must have the ability. So very cool, Beena. Very, very cool. And what Biella is saying here is massively profound, right?
Yes.
This little section here, just read it again, all about awareness, please. Very, very
Yes.
powerful
Okay.
stuff. I want to get
All
distracted.
about awareness.
Yeah.
This brings us the biggest motivation of our lives, which is the
One
development
second,
and
you have to
enhancement.
reread that. Sorry. This brings us.
Okay. This brings us to the biggest motivation of our lives, which
Yeah.
is the development and enhancement of awareness. I will even go as far as saying that developing and enhancing awareness is the point and purpose and meaning of life.
Yeah.
When we look closely at unhappiness, misery, cruelty, abuse, any kind of badness, what lies at the root of it all? Unawareness, every time.
Every
On the
time.
other end, when we look at why we aren't happy, it's the same reason. We don't know. We are unaware of what to do to be happy or happier. The solution across all aspects of happiness to reduce misery and increase happiness lies in being more aware. When we are specifically motivated to be more aware, this changes our lives considerably.
When we are specifically motivated to be more aware, this changes our lives considerably. Yes. 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 All right. This particular article is a very big deal. I'll explain why later. Well, you can see already why, right? But it's more of a
Mm.
big deal than just because of what Viala is sharing, right? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
It's there's an extra reason for it. We'll see. We'll come to
Okay.
it.
Bigger picture. Being more aware connects us to more options, more choices, more opportunities, more possibilities, more of everything. We also connect to less, as in less risk, less stress,
Yes.
less trouble, less misery, especially that created by our own lack of awareness. Once we shift to developing and enhancing our awareness as a life motivation, something extraordinary happens. It connects us. Something that is easy to verify once we make that shift, but has to be tested to be proven to oneself. But it's a most worthwhile effort to make to test this remarkable fact of life. Wow, fact of life. When we become immersed in awareness, when awareness becomes our prime motivation,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
motivation to motivate motivation or root motivation, our biggest motivation. If we pay attention, we notice that everything in life seems to be geared to assisting us in this motivation. It's true, it's a truly remarkable awareness, which
yes.
soon develops into understanding, regardless of how or why it's so. If we
Yeah,
look at the world and what happens in our lives from this perspective, we soon notice that everything we encounter in some way assists us in the development and enhancement of our awareness. Yes, indeed.
yeah. Very powerful, very powerful, very powerful. Right. Uh,
Makes sense.
yeah. Just juggling
Okay.
windows here so I can see Norma's comments. I have to keep refreshing. I want to see your comments, Norma. You said emerald. I don't know what emerald refers to. Can you think, Veena? Norma just said emerald,
Ever?
question mark. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know where you got emerald and how it connects. So I have no idea, Norma.
no, 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 no. No,
Oh.
she's okay. I understand. I understand, Norma. No, this Amirul is different. Emerald is different than emerald.
You see the magic of multiple perspectives. Yes, not emerald, but Amirul. Yeah, if you read along, then you'll see it there. It's the person's name. Not Dear Emerald, which it can sound like, but no, it's Dear Amirul, Amirul. Ah, wonderful, Beena, wonderful. Thanks for clearing that up, and thanks for answering Enormous question. Yeah. So it's interesting. See, when you're listening and you're not reading along because Norma's on the phone, right? It's harder to read along on the phone. By the way, Norma, did you see? I can share the live, which I did. Like if I click on share here, right? I share it to my feed and I share it to my page because then it goes onto the website because of an app that I have to do that. But I can also share it in Messenger, which I did. I shared it with you and I also sent it to Beena so that she can look at how it works and
Yes.
give me feedback on it. I never did that
Yes.
before. So now you can watch it in Messenger. And from now on, Norma, when I do the sharing, I'm going to share it to Messenger, just in case. Then you can always, but you find your way here. It's not a problem. But I'll just do that in any case. If in case that's more handy for you, let me know if that helps you or not. Right? I mean, if it does, I'll send it. If not, then I won't. Yeah, I don't want to clog up your Messenger either. Right? But you see, yeah, it says 10 comments, but I only see a few of them when I'm in this format. Yeah. I don't know why they do this. It's peculiar. But when I go to the other one, like here, now it doesn't update. Come on, Stephanie, I closed you already. Yeah, right. So I'm trying very hard to figure out how I can see your comments more in real time, Norma. And they are important to me. They're very, very important to me. And I thought this live chat would refresh it, but no, it doesn't. Now watch real quick what happens when I refresh this, right? I've got refresh on my mouse, so I'm just going to click it on my mouse. And you can see it's refreshing, right? So when it refreshes, it goes back to having it like this, with the comments kind of hidden or underneath. But when I click on it, yeah, to go into it, now this is where that sound comes. Watch, you see, it's loud, and I have to silence it. Now, sometimes you hear it there. It's because I'm listening by my speakers. Now it's oops, nah, don't worry. That's just a wonder. It's just magical. It was a cool little mystery. Emerald, where does emerald come from? I was quite intrigued. It's worth following through and finding out because then we learn, we discover. And now I realize something that we need to pay attention to what things sound like and not assume that people are reading. Correct, Beena? See, so your comment helped me a lot,
Yes.
Norma. See why I keep saying, even
Yes.
though you may say, well, okay, I made whatever. No, it helps me a lot because now it raised my awareness that I cannot assume some terms and words that are used like this. Yeah, very powerful, very helpful. So brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. That's why I'm just saying that I'm trying to keep up, Norma, but for whatever reason, Facebook has decided to be difficult to this. So I've got to refresh and and then I have to silence it. So if I'm a little slower in doing it, just be aware that's why. Yeah? I don't respond immediately. Yeah. If there is a comment that I'm missing, Norma, in comments here, which is where I wanted to put them, because then when people will see this later on the replay, right? It sits there in the group, and they can see the comments, right? But if there's a comment you want me to specifically respond to, that's important to respond to, message me and just say refresh comments or check comments, right? Then I'll refresh and check, right? So if I get a little bit, because sometimes I get caught up in explaining something or discussing something, and I might get to, because in my sense of time, I think I'm taking a minute or two, but I could take 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, right? Or 3 hours, like it happened earlier with Norm, Beena and I. We were doing something, and then I said, "Oh, I just want to quickly do this." 2 hours later. Anyway, so just because when you message me, Norma, see, here you are. So send me a message real quick, and you'll see what happens. Yeah, just send me a smiley face or a heart or something in Messenger, please, Norma. Or you, Beena, you can do it as well. I want to show Norma what happens. Yeah, Beena, did you hear? Beena, where'd you go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just send me a smiley face or a heart or something in Messenger. Or you, Norma, either way. Either of you. Both of you. No matter. I need to demonstrate it. There we go. You see what happens when you send me this? Or now, if that was you, Norma, the same thing would happen. And did you hear that sound? Did you hear that sound? So if you message me, it pops it up here. And if you just say check comments, right? Because I want you to make the comments here in the in the live underneath it, because then everybody can see them. If you just send a message, only I see it. But if you just say that, like, like this now, it'll check messages. Then I know to go, and because it makes a sound and it pops it up, right? You see, and it puts that little red thing there. Thank you, Norma. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, I wanted this. Absolutely. I absolutely did. Because you see how it pops it up, right? And it puts a little red mark there. That now tells me that it's a nice alert that's very loud and very clear and obvious. It tells me refresh. Yes, it tells me to refresh. So if there's a comment you want me to particularly pay attention to, let me know in Messenger. Like the emerald one, okay, if I did or didn't, it might not have been that particularly important. I don't know, depending, it may have been, right? I don't want to assume. But if it's important and it's timely, then as I'll always respond to them eventually, but if it's timely, then just message me and say check. Yeah. Right. But you see how I have to silence it here. Yeah. So it used to be that these things automatically updated. You see, is a new comment from Norma here. Okay. So anyway, so it's just a peculiarity of this situation. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out different ways of doing this. I'm going to do something. Just got an idea now. Anyway, Beena, you keep reading, please. From where were we? Makes sense, right?
Okay.
Where were we, Beena?
Self-awareness makes some sense. No, it was just scroll a bit up again. Yes, makes sense. This is what we need to.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Things that didn't make sense now start to make sense. Making sense of life is a profound shift of being, one that leads to more and more happiness, and to more, much, much more. And the more life makes sense, the more wonder and marvel we connect to. Once we connect awareness to everything, we see how everything assists us in developing and enhancing our awareness. Once we start with the motivation of awareness, that motivation and the awareness that results leads to more and more motivation, adding to our original motivation. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Once we start, sorry, I'm reading it again. I
Please,
don't
please.
know,
It's
but
important.
read
When
this.
you read it again for your own edification, it's
Yeah,
profound. It's really huge.
okay.
Really huge.
Once we start with the motivation of awareness, that motivation and the awareness that the results leads to more and more motivations, adding to our original motivation. Wow. Everything starts to connect. We connect to the bigger picture, and life itself connects to us personally, intimately. We find stuff happening that is so exquisitely, just exactly what is appropriate for the development and enhancement of our awareness and what we need to learn and develop. It's truly amazing and wonderful.
Yeah.
It's not always nice because sometimes we are foolish and stubborn and reluctant to learn. Then life will assist us on gaining that awareness we need in not so pleasant ways. Yes, with the
Yeah.
shovel.
Yeah.
Here it is that making the motivation of awareness our prime motive. I need to read that again. Okay. Not always nice because sometimes we are foolish and stubborn and reluctant to learn. Then
Yeah.
life will assist us gaining that awareness we need in not so pleasant ways. Here it is that making the motivation of awareness our prime motive, our life motivation, our life mission also helps inordinately because when we recognize the grand scheme of it all, then we stop fighting the learning. We
Mm.
learn to recognize when we are resisting learning. We
Mm.
learn to recognize the forces of life and how to use them, connect to them, and why and where that lead us, guide us, are beneficial to us. Wow, this is something. Okay.
Read it again, please.
Sorry, I've been my expressions were very casual, but this is something to understand because
Yeah.
there is so much complexities involved for me at least.
Yeah. So read
Because
through
what
it and work through it and share with us your process of making sense of it, taking it in, making it your own, really, really connecting to it. Please do that, Beena. I love when you do that. It's really cool. Very important. Yeah, where'd you go?
I get muted. I don't know. Okay, maybe
You probably hit
accidentally.
the space bar. The space bar toggles the
Oh,
mute
maybe.
button. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When that's the last thing
So
that you
my
click on Zoom, right? It won't do it if you,
oh
yeah. So it will toggle other buttons, whatever you last clicked on. So yeah.
oh yes. Okay. Okay. So my old one laptop was not doing that. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah.
Anyway, things that didn't make sense now start to make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
why is she saying that?
Why
Okay,
is she saying that? Yes, because when we look at the bigger
yes,
picture, right? It's a truly remarkable awareness. This awareness of developing, enhancing awareness is as a life motivation is the be all and end all. It's the meaning of life, right? So the awareness that enhancing and developing awareness is the be all and end all of everything is a remarkable awareness, which soon develops into an understanding, capital U understanding, regardless of how or why it is so. If we look at the world and what happens in our lives from this perspective, we soon notice that everything we encounter in some way assists. This has to be not only capital A, but also emphasizes, right? Assists us we soon notice. I want to do this to really emphasize it. Yes, we soon
yeah,
notice, colon, everything. So when we read that, right? If we look at the world and what happens in our lives from this perspective, we soon notice everything we encounter in some way assists us in the development and enhancement of our awareness. Makes sense. Things that didn't make sense now start to make sense. And so the
absolutely.
connectivity of these is very important,
Yes,
which means this photo must move or this art. Yes?
yes,
Because that needs to connect more there. So I mean I put the art there because it's kind of in the middle, more or less, you see? And you see that's be the just to balance it out, but too bad. Just has to go somewhere else. Okay. Ah, they didn't copy that picture now. Dang it. Why didn't it copy it? Sometimes odd things happen. All right. Anyway, so now we're starting to see what is this making sense, right? Everything we encounter in some way assists us in the development and enhancement of our awareness. So please now read again from Makes Sense.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Things that didn't make sense now start to make sense.
Mm.
Making sense of life is a profound shift of being, one that leads to more and more happiness and to more, much, much more. The more life makes sense, the more wonder and marvel we connect to. Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Now I got it.
Right.
Okay,
And
at
see,
least some.
yeah is where, that person who said, oh, what's more and moreness is not a word, and why not just say more? Look at how when we say and to more, much, much more, and to moreness, much, much moreness, how much more powerful it is when you say moreness rather than more. Yeah?
Yes.
It expands it into the abstract, into the ineffable, into the intangible. That is so incredibly important, the abstract, right? And not just physical and
Yes.
material. Yeah.
Once we connect awareness to everything, we see how everything assists us in developing and enhancing our awareness.
Yeah.
How to connect everything to awareness?
Yeah.
Question, sir.
Ah, 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 ah. How to connect everything to awareness.
Yes.
That's a wonderfully excellent question. Diligence. So
Hmm.
deliberate, 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 unbending diligence. Simply making the effort to do so. I mean, diligence here includes perseverance, persistence, continued application, and of course, things like unbending intent. Yes, but just be diligent about making the effort to do so. Yeah, don't just make the effort, but be diligent about making the effort. Then it's going to become a habit, right? And something that becomes innate and automatic, and it just automatically starts to be how you are, right? So in order to do this on a regular basis, change who you are, change how you are. Yes, which is typically when we say who you are, we mean how you are. Yeah. So change your way of being to have a connectivity to awareness into everything, be a part of how you live. So, in other words, we get back to motivation, change the motivation. If we make being aware of everything absolutely critically important, we're going to say, oh, this is important, and understand why it's important. Then it's going to happen of its own accord. You don't even need to be diligent. Yes, which is where this article is heading. So just keep that question again. Yes. What was that question again?
How to connect everything to awareness or awareness to everything.
How
Connect
to
awareness to everything.
connect awareness or
Awareness,
our awareness?
no, awareness to everything.
Okay. Okay. I typed capital E. My fingers. Okay. So since this is a subheading, and well, we need to take this out of bold, right?
Yes.
It's just uh, so this in brackets here, because it's square brackets, it means the author, not Biella, is putting this in, right? In this case, the book is written by Syl Sabastian, but it's Ask Biella is who's answering this. Yeah. So this comes from Syl in this case, not from Biella, right? Just as a little, if you see this, just know that this is the convention in editing. If you don't know, then what you sort of miss out on knowing something. But it's useful to know. It's useful to know. Um, do you think that that is appropriate to leave there?
Oh, yes.
Okay. If we connect our awareness to everything, it will make sense. So I'm going to leave this in the article. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Biella is not answering that question yet, but she's going to. So, right, let's read again. Right. All right. So
Yes.
now let's read this all again, but read from here, right? This from
Yes.
sorry, if right, from if, yes, if we.
Okay. If we look at the world and what happens in our lives from this perspective, we soon notice everything we encounter in some way assists us in the development and enhancement of our awareness. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
How to connect awareness to everything. Things that didn't make sense now start to make sense. Making sense of life is a profound shift of being, one that leads to more and more happiness and to moreness, much, much moreness. The more life makes sense, the more wonder and marvel we connect to. Once we connect awareness to everything, we see how everything assists us in developing and enhancing our awareness. Once we start with the motivation of awareness, that motivation and the awareness that results leads to more and more motivations, adding to our original motivation. Everything starts to connect. We connect to the breath. We connect to the bigger picture, and life itself connects to us personally, intimately. We find stuff happening that is so exquisitely, just exactly what is appropriate for the development and enhancement of our awareness and what we need to learn and develop. It's truly amazing and wonderful. Not always nice because sometimes we are foolish and stubborn and reluctant to learn. Then life will assist us on gaining that awareness we need in not so pleasant ways. Here it is that making the motivation of awareness our prime motive, our life motivation, helps inordinately because when we recognize the grand scheme of it all, then we stop fighting the learning. We learn to recognize. When we are resisting learning, we learn to recognize the forces of life and how to use them, connect to them, and why and where they lead us, guide us, are beneficial to us. Okay, for me, when I was reading this, that okay to connect awareness to everything. So
Yeah.
it was pulling me back to the slide one page, like the first module, uh, of clarity of intent. Once we set our intent in any situation, in
Exactly.
anything, that that what what I'm doing here and why I'm doing this,
Yeah. Yeah.
then it is going to connect. If we have this intent that I want to learn and grow and I want to be aware, then it is going to be, of course, connect to everything. Like what I'm doing, what I'm really doing here, every single step, every single action, reaction, response in our life is going to just enhanced by awareness, and of course we will learn and grow rapidly.
Yes. Yeah.
If I have this intent as my biggest life motivation that I want to learn and grow, then
Exactly.
then I can't be like 100% sure, but most likely what is going to happen, that what we are actually striving for, what we are actually looking for, waiting for some intent to materialize, we will reach that very quickly, because in most of the intents, what I have seen and observed, that the biggest dream or biggest intent for people, they are waiting for to materialize, is something they are not themselves yet. So if we just do that okay, setting our intent just for awareness first, of course, like even when I'm eating something, okay, I'm eating I'm having my dinner, how can I just be
set my intent to be aware. I can be aware of that, how much nutritional value I'm getting, how to actually enjoy this thing, and how these things are coming into my life. Just be aware of it. And getting this awareness a bit more focused and emphasized in
Exactly.
my mind is going to give me a lot. And then of course next time when I will have it, I'll be more careful, I'll be more happy with that how much actually I'm receiving in my life. So the awareness is going to grow me rapidly, and it enables me to learn rapidly,
Exactly.
and how I
Exactly.
will become
Exactly.
what I really want in my life. Like
Yeah.
my intent was to
Yeah.
be with people who are more than me, and of course, and then what Syl
Correct.
was
Correct. And
thinking.
that's the third intent that I had been
Yes,
life intent. Same thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and and of course, I cannot be with them. Of course, they are not going to even talk to me or look at me, because if I would not be learning and growing by myself first,
Yeah.
no, I
Exactly.
need to do something.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely critical. Yes. Yeah.
I need to do something about it. So at least they will notice me. At least they will accept me that, okay, yes, now you can learn with us. No, but if I would not be like, okay, again, just a very simple example. If I would not
Yeah.
be working on this language skill, I'm still trying to. But
You do
at
every
least
day.
yes, but at least I make myself at least able to understand and try to communicate my things, what I want to
Yeah.
share with
Yeah. Yeah.
people, to make it sensible, to make it
Yeah.
sound sensible at least. So that was the basic need for that. Otherwise, if I would be speaking Urdu, still you would never ever be
Yeah.
able to communicate, okay, most likely. And why to waste time? So my growth was like, okay, yes, I need to do something. I need to use internet. I need to prompt whenever I see an opportunity. I need to be able to communicate with you. These were the things on my side, was the result of awareness, of course, the
Yeah.
enhancement and learning and growing. And then, so I was at least able to communicate with you, so I can be with you, so then I can learn together.
Yeah.
That was the need, that was the real step and
Exactly.
the mechanism of the materialization of this intent. Wow, so much in it. Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. Makes sense. Yes, makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes. Very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. All right. To answer your question again, Beena, if we just going along our regular life, right? It's just totally typical regular life, right? Uh, and we're doing whatever we're doing. We're doing our job, we're in our relationships, whatever. And if we just think that, well, I want stuff. Yes, typically in life we want stuff. Okay. I want
Yes.
to get more pay. I want to not argue with my loved one, whatever you want, doesn't matter, right? Um, just if you connect this and say, how can you get what you want? Most of the time we want stuff and we don't really believe we can get it. Yes. If we did, we make that effort to get it and then we get it, right? So typically, if we don't have it, the effort is too much or we don't think it's possible. Yes. Yeah. Right, Beena?
Because we
Hang
are
on, hang on. I'm
not,
going somewhere.
because
I'm
we
going
are
somewhere. I
not.
just want to make sure you're
Oh
with me.
yes, okay.
Sorry. So
Oh
hold
yes,
your thought.
yes.
Hold your thought, please. So now, if you have an awareness and say in your day-to-day life, if I come and say to you, you know what, there is a way that you can get what you want, but you don't know how, right? So would you be interested in getting assistance if something came along and helped you, assisted you to get what you want? I say, man, yes, yes. Where? Who's this? Where? What website? What do I? Who's right? I say, oh, it's the universe. It's everything around you. If you truly understand this and truly really take this for real, right? The moment you say, wow, the way I can get what I want is by paying attention to the universe. The universe is going to assist me. Right. So instead of connecting it to assisting us in developing and enhancing awareness, because of course awareness is gets you to get what you want. If you have an awareness of what you need to do and how to go about getting what you want, then you can do it, right? So, but that's like a two-step connectivity. But if we connect it directly, If we correct, the universe assists you in getting what you want. Well, first of all, it's also going to assist you in understanding whether your wants are appropriate or not, but never mind, right? I'm answering your question of how to connect awareness to everything by internally in your brain saying, I want stuff, and the way to get it is to pay attention to the universe. The universe is going to assist me getting what I want. Now, because I've made this assistance of the universe really, really important to me, how do you not pay attention to everything in order to see? Because that's the everything is how the universe assists you through everything, right? Through anomalies and through force of circumstance and through attunement, right? Which is life, right? In other words, in order to really connect to this assistance, you have to pay attention to everything. Yes.
Yes.
See how it
Yes.
works, Beena. I know. I'm saying to leverage your question. If we really understand what Biella's talking about here, it's one or two steps removed because she's saying make your motivation awareness. She doesn't tie it directly to getting what you want because getting what you want is problematic because we want nonsense. Yes, but really that's the bottom line. Yes, is that when you start to make awareness your motivation, you're going to get what you want. And likewise, when you make awareness your motivation and you realize that the universe is going to assist you in this awareness, which you connected to learning and growing. Yes. Now, in your case, you love to learn and grow. So just understand that the universe is going to assist you in learning and growing. Man, this is the source of where I can get more learning and growing. So I have to pay attention. I have to pay attention. See, immediately you've made that connectivity. Now, paying attention to everything is you getting assistance and getting more learning and growing. It's important to you learning and growing. Therefore, connecting your awareness to everything now becomes very important. Yes? See what I mean? Tying the two together. Association management. Make sense, Beena?
Yes.
So that's the
Yes.
key. How to connect awareness to everything. Associate your motivations, which in your case, motivation to learn and grow, associate it with, oh, yes, of course, because of the assistance of the universe. There you go. Life is easy. Automatic connectivity. Now you paying attention to learning and growing, which you already do, yes, profoundly all the time, correct? You've now
Yes.
just expanded that to pay attention to everything, which is it means the same thing. Attention to paying attention to everything or connecting awareness to everything is the same as learning and growing.
Hmm.
Connecting awareness to everything is the same thing as being interested, connecting to learning and growing. Same thing. Same thing. Right? That's what it means. Connecting to everything is learning and growing. Yeah.
Yes.
See, it's one and the same thing. You're already doing it. You just have to rearrange and expand the scope of what learning and growing means. To me, learning and growing means connecting my awareness to everything. Why? Because then I can get the assistance from the universe. And the universe is absolutely geared to assisting me in learning and growing via the enhancement and development of my awareness. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like this? Do you like this connectivity, this leveraging, in other words, this
Yes.
magical
Yes.
association management? Why association management is so profound and why it's connected to
Yes.
habit management, as we're going to see in the mind map. Yes, because it's a habit to think of learning and growing in its sort of typical context. We don't typically think of learning and growing as connecting our awareness to everything. We don't think of learning and growing as getting assistance from the universe. We think it's something we have to do on our own, correct?
Yes.
Habit. It's pure habit. Pure habit. Pure habit. Right? Even when we know better, when we know that learning and growing is attunement, which is all about learning and growing, all enhancement of the awareness. We know this, but we're still in the habit of thinking it's all about me. It's all about me. Yeah. So habit management leads to association management, energy management, mood management, etc. Very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. When we understand, capital U, understand the connectivities and the associations, in other words, then we can use one to leverage the other. I already have the innate motivation to learn and grow. All I have to do here, Beena, you already have that
Yes.
motivation. All you have to do is redefine what learning and growing means to you. That's all you have to do. right? In other words,
Mm.
you asked the question, how to connect awareness to everything. By implication, there's sort of like, how do I motivate myself to do this? Correct?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's sort of implied in the question, how to connect. How can I find the motivation to connect? Because you know that you can connect by making an effort. But I don't want to make an effort to really like force myself to connect. That's why I said diligence, but that's effort. But that's why I started with that, because now it brings up all these questions. But you already have the innate deep desire to learn and grow. All you have to do is just expand your definition, your understanding of what learning and growing means. Isn't learning and growing getting assistance from the universe, connecting your awareness to everything? Isn't that learning and growing?
Oh, yes.
There you go. So how to connect is associated to what is already motivating you. In your case, learning and growing, it's kind of a duh, but it doesn't matter. Let's say your motivation is cars. Yeah.
Mm.
Connect your awareness to everything. You're going to know and notice everything that's going to lead you to knowing more about cars in whatever your interest is. See? Because that's your interest and your intent and your focus. Everything you're going to notice stuff that you didn't notice before that will lead you to where you want to be. See, just change your definition. Even if it's something like just connected to cars, doesn't matter what it is. By changing the definition of what you're already motivated to do, to include things that aren't necessarily automatically included. By broadening our definition of what motivates us, we get to expand and we get to transfer our motivation to additional things that we want, which we don't necessarily innately have the motivation for. Yes. So motivation management, incredibly, incredibly, incredibly potent. Yes. That's
Yes.
why being understanding motivation is why my personal psychology, the psychology that I've developed, I call it motive psychology. Because if you can self-motivate, this is the superpower of all superpowers. Yeah.
Yes.
We can do anything if we're motivated, pretty much. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
incredible. Right. All right, let's keep going. This is fantastic stuff. This is fantastic stuff. Yeah. Norma said
Yeah.
she had to go because her phone ran out of battery. Right. She had
Oh.
long messages today. That's all good, Norma. Always all good, marvelous, Norma. All good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beena said Emerald was Admiral. No, no, I
Yeah,
was
yeah. Emerald was the
sound
questioner's
might
name on
sound like.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
and she says 26 minutes ago. Sorry, phone needs charging now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we were
Oh,
talking. Yeah, so yeah, what she said that 20, I know it seems a long time ago, but all right, yeah. We
okay.
were
Anyway,
discussing this very intensely, this
just
section.
scroll. Scroll,
Oh,
please.
you got to the end of that? Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Self-awareness, and this is the last part of it. You're tying it all together now.
Okay. Self-awareness. Having the development and enhancement of awareness as our biggest motivation, of course, uh, includes where it makes the biggest difference. Self-awareness. The more and more we become self-aware, the more and more we connect to the magic of being. We soon come to realize, become aware that we are much more than we ever believed. And indeed, we come to realize that the world does not work the way we think it does. This includes ourselves. We don't
Yeah,
work the way we think we do either. As our awareness grows, we realize there is so much more to us that we ever imagined. Everything starts to connect more and more with more awareness, which
yeah,
connects us to more, capital M O,
yeah,
all beginning with the realization that indeed our biggest motivation is awareness, the developing and enhancing of awareness, and unawareness in itself that profoundly changes us and leads to profound shifts in motivation itself. Yella.
Everything starts to connect more and more with more awareness, which connects us to moreness, all beginning with the realization that indeed our biggest motivation, our as a group, as a species, as a culture, as a civilization, our biggest motivation is awareness, the developing and enhancing of awareness, and awareness in itself that profoundly changes us and leads to profound shifts in motivation itself. That last part, and leads to profound shifts in motivation itself. This is incredible. I think that deserves an exclamation mark there. Yeah. Yes, Beena? Where'd you go? Beena?
It just muted me again. I was here. I was talking.
Yeah, I don't know. Must accidentally be bumping that or something. Awareness, Beena, awareness.
Self-awareness, self-awareness.
But look at the little hidden message here. Awareness of the
Hmm.
space bar.
Yes,
What is
space.
spacing? It's
Space.
pause.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Everything, see, connect our awareness to everything. Suddenly, everything teaches us something. Everything helps us to learn and grow. Yes, right
Yes.
there, just a simple little thing like this pause and space bar putting you on mute, which is that's it. Be mute. Listen, listen, listen. Right? Okay. In this case, it's inappropriate now, right? So, but still, it still drew the attention to it, which is very, very cool. Very cool. The reason why this is a big deal, because this response, this question is, I put this whole article into Way of Impeccability. Okay?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big, big, big deal. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think I have these here. And obviously there are some exercises in it, but still, it is. Oh, this is on the Moreness thing, not Way of Impeccability. Um, Come on, load. There we go. There we go. I'm trying to think what it's called. I think I think it's called "What is the biggest motivation of our life?" If I remember correctly. Uh, or maybe how it all makes sense. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Moment of now. Yeah, I think it's how it all makes sense, if I remember correctly now. But it is here. It is here. I'll see now. That's why I want to check it. You see, because my curiosity now. Yeah. Yeah. What is the biggest motivation of our life? Right. It's called how it all makes sense. Yes. It's very, very important. An overview perspective from which we have understanding. So we could have read this here, right?
Hmm.
See, now it's just a little bit prettier, but it's all the same, right? What's the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all about awareness. Right. I mean, just look how much of a difference it makes when we break it down like this, right? And you have the slides. At least for me, I think it makes a massive difference, right? Yeah. And also, you were doing this. You were pausing. You see now that pause of the space bar. Each slide here is like the space bar, right? It gives you that pause. But when we break this down, yeah, we get this ability to grasp it better. Yeah. Now I did make a few edits there, but I can't really add them in here because this has the audio to it, so I just have to live with it, right? I said, yeah, for instance, I think connects us to more or to moreness. Yes. Yeah. But
Yes.
yeah, it's all right. But look how potent this stuff is on its own slide, right? And how I make this, I'm taking each concept, each thought, each grouping, yes, putting it together, yes, and it emphasizes it more, yeah. And I always try to have, look at this. This is a very big overview perspective of somebody lying there looking up, right, with their arms out like that, trying to make sense of things potentially. It could mean that. Yeah? So I try to have the pictures in some way give us this. You see, awareness. I mean, it's just a gorgeous picture too, right, of this whole valley. And that's just too cool. How this is. Yeah. That's a wonderful, wonderful picture. Yeah. But again, we have this nice overview awareness and the moreness involved in awareness and, paying attention to detail. Like, what is this on the mountain here? Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And how flat this is. Nowhere in nature will you find things so, nice and neatly. This is made flat by the farming. Yeah. Just by implication. Yeah, I just look how powerful this is. I mean, I'm just scrolling through this. We aren't even reading it this way, but I find that, when you read it in the slide by slide, it's obviously going to take a lot longer to read, but that's appropriate in this case, right, Beena? That we need to take this in each concept slide by slide, right? So here's the tasks and exercises. Make notes of
Yes.
how you are
Yes.
motivated. Like if you were doing Way-of-Impeccability, this would be your thing to do. Beside doing your repeat backs and takeaways slide by slide, right? Make notes of
Yes.
how you are motivated and by what. I mean, that's one little sentence, but this is quite the task if you really apply it properly, right? You aren't
Yes.
only saying you're going to say what all motivates you and then how. Well, but first you're going to make how and then what. Especially make a note of how an expansion of your awareness affected you and how that feels and is. Now look at this too, right? In terms of the sort of science or the psychology or the extra moreness that comes into tasks and exercises. When I say especially make a note of how an expansion of your awareness affected you, this assumes that you have had an expansion of your awareness. Yes. And if not, it implies that, well, since it's assuming and expecting this to have happened, if it hasn't, you better expand your awareness now so that you can answer this question. Right? So if you haven't had that, the question is going to lead you to make it happen, and then you can say, oh, then you've acquired something. See, so and how that feels and is. So this is a very profound part of why the doing it as a part of Way of Impeccability makes such a difference. And of course, the takeaways and repeat backs, yes, those are huge, right? So let's read this quote here. As somebody commenting on this. When we resist the lessons that are designed to help us gain more awareness, the universe persists. Wow. Rather than fighting the
Okay.
forces of life that are meant to help us grow as spirit warriors, we can use them to our benefit, learning to recognize our own resistance to them and use them to our advantage rather than fight them. This becomes part of our life strategy. Erica Empowered. Yeah, just amazing and again, this is not edited. This is something that came up, in the sessions. And I would just say, let me put that, like you see me take stuff that Beena or Norma say and I put in my quote file, right? Yeah, just it's fantastic. Yeah, how it all makes sense. The point, purpose, and meaning of life is the development and enhancement of awareness. This is her taking the quote, yes, from the session, and she's now commenting. Her takeaway on that line is takeaway. So what's the big deal with being aware? What does aware mean anyway? Now we're hearing her internalness here. This is such a gift to us.
This is
This from
Donna.
DS Donna. Yeah, DS Donna. Right, exactly.
Yes.
Right? And we're hearing her internal thinking, yes? She's writing it out, takeaway. So what's the big deal with being aware? What does aware mean anyway? If you pay attention to your thoughts, actions, and feelings, you then have a choice on how to live your life. Otherwise, you just revert to old programming, like going into autopilot when driving a car. I can do autopilot, and sometimes it's even a feel-good situation on autopilot. But I never am fulfilled and certainly not satisfied in the long run. It leads to a temporary fix every time. If you are aware that the world does not work the way we think it does, we automatically can see that means we do not work the way we think we do. The beginning of the awareness of the mystical and magical carpet ride we're on. How fun is that? This is just too brilliant. More from DS Donna, but before we do that, we just in the light of appropriateness here, I want to send that to Donna. I want to send her this just as a reminder of her own deep magical moreness and profoundness. It's good to be reminded of this, don't you think? Just me being, little nice here to Donna and appreciating Donna and loving Donna. Because yes, Donna, you are marvelous and magical. Yeah, and I do appreciate you inordinately. Yes. And these are cool, these takeaways, right? That's why I add them in. This is very cool. How am I now? This is coming from, takeaways, right? Which is part of doing the program, and why it is so profound. When you have a bit of a pressure on you, just a pressure of I'm doing something, and this is what it requires to do it, and I'm going to take this seriously, and so you just have a bit of pressure to do the thing properly, right? And then you get the motivation that you don't have of your own accord. We don't normally write out our takeaways, yes. But when you do so, look at the profoundness that comes, right? Because she's gone through it in detail, right? How am I motivated and by what? This is what the quote from the session takeaway. My life motivation is to be the best I can be while here now in this physical body. To do that, I need to be aware, in brackets, deliberate, with every single thought, action, and deed, and to be aware of how I feel in different life situations, experiences. A pretty big undertaking indeed, but incredibly exciting and fun if you choose to view it from that perspective. Also, if I am aware I flubbed with an action, thought, or deed, and it is producing a, in inverted commas, negative feeling, it is still good, all caps good, because I needed awareness to know I flubbed. So ultimately, I increase my awareness, which circles back to my main life motivation and how I go about being my life motivation. The glorious development and enhancement of awareness. Bonus! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. DS Donna. Again, send this to Donna. Yeah. Again, that's a takeaway, but it's actually a repeat back to be really accurate there, yes? Because what Donna said here was said in the session, correct, Beena? Yeah. I mean, it's a takeaway and a repeat back both together. Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
let's just so but look at the power of this. Now we are hearing what I said and how it was said. It sort of makes sense to me, and I really make an effort in the sessions, the slides, in the articles. Yes, that I am making an inordinate effort to say things in such a way that they aren't just my personal angle. Yes, that they can be grasped. But I know no matter what that we have our own. That's why the repeat backs and the takeaways are so critically important, because we can see here in this how Donna has made these points her own. She owns them now. They're hers. Her,
Yes.
yeah. And she's changed as a result. And she can own it. She can use it. She can apply it innately, automatically. Like your question, how can I connect my awareness to everything? By making it your own. The connection that it is connected to your main motivation in life, which is learning and growing. Right? You want to be a power learner. Yes, power learning. What is power learning? It's learning more than in the usual ways, which is like reading up on things, listening to. That's typical learning. Yes, power learning is more. It's implementation, application, connection. Correct, Beena?
Exactly.
It's also paying attention to everything? Power learning?
Yes.
Paying attention to everything? Same thing. Or connecting your
Yes.
awareness to everything. That was the question. Not just paying attention, connecting your awareness to everything. That's power learning. Is it not one and the same thing? It is, yes?
Yes. Yes.
There it connected. There it connected. Finally, I've been trying to make that point now multiple different ways. Finally, it really connected that. Okay.
Yes.
So this one, we had lots of takeaways here that I added in the end here. The session really spoke to me when I came to the awareness that any unhappiness, abuse, or anything bad I've experienced was because I lacked the awareness each and every time. Being conditioned to not express my real feelings or not allow myself to be in the present moment surely has turned off my awareness switch at many different times in my life. With that being said, unawareness is now my enemy. So I need to feel that enemy when it shows up, become knowledgeable about it, be honest with myself, so that this major enemy becomes powerless of me. I deserve to be happy or whatever else I choose. I choose. I is italicized there. I just need to become aware of what makes me happy, etc. So I can feel it, do it, and live it. All I have to do is pay attention, and my awareness will automatically grow. What a profound statement. All I have to do is pay attention, and my awareness will automatically grow. Yes, exactly. This helps me acquire motivation of my awareness, which is everywhere around us, every day, every minute, waiting to assist me. I just need to pay more attention. Sue, unedited. Send this to Sue. Yes? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I haven't messaged Sue for a while, so I think I may have to search for her. Let's see. And I think she is Susan, yes, on messages. Yeah. Not Sue.
Yes.
So there we go.
Sorry. So sorry.
Yeah. What a wonderful takeaway. What a wonderful takeaway. See, I'm just celebrating. I'm just celebrating you participants. You're marvelous. You're marvelous. All right, let's see. I think there's more. Yes, there's more. Wow. Okay. Question. What will make you happy, and notice where the answers come from. It's what I was saying earlier. Remember about what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Question. What will make you happy, and notice where the answers come from. Now, Elizabeth Entrusted is saying this in a very condensed way. If we expand that a little bit, she's saying set an intent, right, to question what will make you happy. Yes, so set this as an intent, and then notice, because when you set an intent, you automatically are connected to the external. Your awareness when you set an intent is automatically connected externally. Correct, Beena?
Yes.
Because an intent, when you set an intent, it's not just you doing it, you're involving life, the universe, the world, everything, right? So you have to pay attention around you to see your intent materialize, correct? So, but
Exactly.
look at the sophistication here. Question, what will make you happy, and notice where the answer comes from. Because if you're noticing where it comes from, by implication, you're not just looking inside yourself, right? Because you don't really notice things inside you, then you'll say more, you'll pay attention to it or listen to what comes, something like that. It's typically usually different. Anyway, what is driving the idea, and follow it to the root. Now, she does go internally as well, yeah, right? When you get past the ego's desire to prove something and find the true essence behind it, perhaps what you are seeking already exists, and the need to achieve something exterior can be let go. Just really cool. And the need to achieve something exterior can be let go. I'm not sending that to Elizabeth because I don't have a chat. She changed it. And so, she's not on Facebook anymore, I don't think. But still, very cool, Elizabeth Entrusted. Yes. All right. How it all makes sense. I am motivated by, the desire to embrace all life's lessons, gifts I have so long ignored. Wow. The desire to embrace all life's lessons / gifts I have so long ignored. The desire to shift my perspective on what I once thought was simple, unimportant, and insignificant. After session shift, in brackets here, after session shift, to perfect my ability through practice of zooming out on these happenings, experiences to receive what is the big picture. The need to appreciate and accept that everything is here and happens for my benefit. Again, brackets, open brackets, after session shift, awareness equal appreciation, close brackets. The challenge of acquiring awareness in all things, in all ways, so that my growth and my growing is infinite and sought. Brackets, after session shift, growing is the doing. Cheryl enabled. Ah, marvelous, Cheryl. Marvelous, Cheryl. Wonderful, wonderful. These are also responses to the end, the task there, the end of the session. So let me send that to Cheryl as well. Yeah. Brilliant, marvelous, wonderful people. Brilliant, wonderful, marvelous people. Cheryl. Cheryl enabled. Cheryl enabled. Yeah, yeah. I really love those names, you know. That they Way-of-Impeccability names, right? Sue unedited, Cheryl enabled, Elizabeth entrusted, Erica empowered. They're all very appropriate. Sue unbound. You know, Sue really used this name in kind of, because they don't come randomly. They're a really big deal, these names, and that's why you see that's her brand now. Sue Unbound. I'm sorry. Sure, Unbound.
Yeah.
It's her brand. It's her brand. It's a big deal. It's not simple. It's not simple, right? It's a very big deal. Very, very big deal. Yeah. Again, you know, when you do things with moreness, moreness comes. Yes. And moreness is very profound. It's a very, very big deal. Now, one of my tasks and projects is in the moreness project. I add in many more tasks and exercises, like after every couple of slides. Like, in other words, basically after each, if we go back to the article, right? This thing in its original form, I would add in tasks and exercises after each section. Yes. And so in the Moreness project, like when we're doing psychology of superiority paradigm or capital H hearing or the nobleness ones, right? There are many more. And I do want to add this to wave impeccability. I was a bit reluctant to do it. I wanted to, but I was, when I first did this, I had no idea how participants are going to respond. Yeah. So I didn't want to press them with tasks and exercises because I don't want to chase them away and say, "Oh man, this is a lot of work." But then when we started doing those Moreness projects and I saw how this was so powerful, I added lots more, and they are profoundly enhancing. I mean, they just make a massive, massive, massive difference in a very big deal, in a very, very big way. So I do want to add more to that. I just want to give an example here real quick of this. So let's take hearing and helping, and
Mhm.
listening to hear more, and we'll just go through this real quick, yeah. And I'm just going to go to the tasks and exercises, right? So we've got a client, is right. We get to see this all paying exquisite attention, and then we've got a quote, and we go, so there we go. See, tasks and exercises, and then we're going to go a little more. And I think in later modules, I actually put the subheadings up here, right? And we get to a quote again, and got a little more and a little more, and we got task and exercise again, right? And these are very, when engaging, especially with those who are a bit timid or lost, pay very close attention to how much they are influenced and affected by what you say, your ideas and beliefs, without perhaps even being aware of what's happening. What's the problem with this unintended influence? Yeah. I mean, just of its own accord, there
Yes.
isn't that just like, wow, wow. Yeah. And
Yes.
this is about, capital H hearing, obviously. But still, just even on its own accord. Yeah, I never really thought about that. And now you start to pay attention and you realize just how this much unintended influence is. And what's the problem with it, right? I'm not saying what the problem is. You're going to come and say what the problem is. Yeah. Yeah. So you get to
Yes.
think, you get to figure it out, you get to apply it. And that's the point. Application, right? This is application. This is a task for application. A big deal. A big deal. A big deal. A big, 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 big deal. All right. I want to read more, but even though it's raining and it's cold and everything, I have to go to the warehouse.
Oh.
Well, for two things. Well, we've got the thing to ship, right? And I like to ship on Fridays because if you ship on Saturdays, sometimes it only leaves on Mondays, and then it's like 3 days really longer. But also the person's coming to pick up that 9:30, the
Oh.
booster, so I have to go now. So I'm just going to go real quick and then come back, and then maybe you and I can read some more because I'm very keen to read more. Very keen to read more. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
By
In the
the way,
meantime,
so Sunday we're going to do the mind map, which is a very big deal. If anybody's hearing this, come on Sunday, it's
yes.
a big deal. And then just talking about a big deal. Um, many of these questions, like this one was asked. That's why it's got no name here, right? This was asked on Quora, yes, and Ask Biella is on Quora as Biella Noble. Biella Noble has a Quora presence, right? And this was a question that just came up in Quora. That way they kind of send you want to answer this, right? And since I wrote the whole book on narcissists and manipulators and all this, right? So this question was sent to me to answer, and I did. And this is of all the questions, and I answered many questions on Quora. And this one was by far the one that got the most attention and action and interaction. Huge response on this. So very big difference. So just interesting. Just connecting things, connecting things. All right, marvelous people. Beena, any comments on everything? That was fun.
Thank you so much for today. Today's was like really a big deal kind of
Yeah, Moreness.
life for me because I was kind of like okay missing something like okay really hitting you. So
Yeah.
that was something I was missing for many days now. But now it
Oh,
is I got that like wow
oh,
okay so
oh.
it,
See,
why I'm saying that
intent,
why I'm
intent, intent.
uh,
Right?
because that spark is needed in your life
Yeah.
when you get a bit like okay yeah a subtle surprise like oh wow okay it keeps you grounded it keeps you not get into that ego nonsense that I know it all no oh wow little bit
Yes.
wow
Exactly.
wow such an amazing
Exactly.
thing so yes
Exactly.
this is something very profound for me
Yeah.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for still
Yeah.
for sharing that
Yeah,
and yeah
yeah,
we will
yeah. Boy, I really
try
enjoyed. Sorry, Bina, before you go, I just want to comment. Like you say, you really enjoyed. I really enjoyed going over this in Way of Impeccability, right? And if
yes
I think maybe there's one or two more of the Ask Biellas that that became part of Way of Impeccability, or the reverse, that they became part of Ask Biella. I don't remember, but if they are an Ask Biella article that's in Way of Impeccability or in any of the others, I want to read it via the slides. Yes,
okay okay
you agree? Because that it adds so much
yes
to it. Yes, and then also hopefully
yes
we'll have where I added in the participants' takeaways and sharings. Yes, and those are very powerful to add to it.
yes
Right, it just adds an extra layer of
yes
moreness. I really enjoyed that, and I remember
yes
when Erica and Cheryl and Elizabeth and Sue and Donna, when they were sharing that, they were in a space that was super magical, and I feel that they lost the connectivity to that space they were in. Some more, some
yes
less. Yes, I know Donna is
yes
still pretty much mostly in that space. Yes, but others, I feel they've lost it a bit because they didn't like Cheryl. She didn't finish Way of Impeccability, so when she comes again, she has to basically sort of get into it again. It didn't become a default part of her life yet, and I hope it will. Yes, which I'm very keen for her to come and continue and finish, because that's very important to take the space that enables you to make such a sharing, right? That I added in there, to have this be your everyday. It takes repetition and habit, right? For you, this is now innate. It's automatic. You do it without thinking twice, right, Bina?
yes
But it's why
yes I want
doing
to
Way of
say something
Impeccability, it's a minimum of 4 months and typically a year or longer. because you need to make it part of your daily, everyday being. Yes, very important.
Okay. I just want to add something.
Please.
Because mostly people say that, okay, oh, you have all the time in the world to do this,
Yeah.
which is, of course, not true. I do have a very busy life also. But because my intent was to actually learn and grow, universe really helped me out. And
Yeah.
that the universe created a situation where I can actually do this. So please,
Yes.
if you really have something that, okay, it's an intent, you really want to do something and you are not finding it, set your intent, and then you will see that how universe is going to assist you to fix your beanie in your head.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. The universe, and to finish your sentence, the universe is going to assist you to get what it
Exactly.
is that you want. And,
Yes.
it all depends on how motivated you are and how important this is to you. To do Way of
Yes.
Impeccability, it's going to require about 10 hours a week, right? You want to really do it thoroughly. 10 hours a week, 4 for the
Because
Zooms
ten,
and
ten,
6
ten
for your
hours is,
takeaways and repeat backs. Yeah.
this
Now,
is me
tell
time.
me.
It has to be me time for everyone. Yeah, in a week, 10 hours me time. Okay, yes, this is what I'm going to do for
Exactly,
myself.
exactly, exactly. Now, if you take 10 hours over the course of a week, right, and 10 divided by 7 is like 1 point something, like let's say one, it's not even 1 1/4, it's less than 1 1/4, it's not even 1 and 15, something like that, right? A little more than an hour, okay? Uh, if
Yes.
you can't set aside, let's say an hour and a quarter, right? Hour and a quarter every day. If you can't set that aside in your life, then something's wrong with your life, correct?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Me
my
time.
life is full
Make
all
it
of the
me time.
time, but I can always make an hour and a quarter. Why? Because I just have to change my priorities. So that whatever is in your life, you just start pushing it down. All right. So maybe I'm not doing other things that I might have done, and I just make it a bit of a priority. Or you just start to reorganize a bit. Okay. So how much of this time you go spend shopping? Well, I go to the supermarket every day. Do you really need to go every day? No, you don't. You can go once a week. Right there, you've saved all that shopping. See what I mean? So you can easily find the time if you're motivated. So to say that, oh, you've got the time, nonsense. Everybody has the time. Everybody has the time, no matter how busy you are, right? And if you're that busy, then you really need to reprioritize your life. If there's other stuff that's more important than your life, yes? If you're working so hard and not neglecting yourself, well, to what end? What are you working for? To be happy? Well, if you don't know how to be happy internally, you can get all the success in your job, but you're still not going to get. You're going to have a midlife crisis eventually, correct? Right, Beena?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a big
Yes.
deal, a big, big deal. So it's not that onerous, but of course you need to have that immersion, right? It's not just setting 10 hours a week aside. You need to take this into your job, into your relationship, into whatever it is that you do, into your recreation, your hobbies, everything, because you need to change. So you need to immerse in this because life change and self change requires immersion because we are looking to change lifelong habits, which are the most difficult habits of all to change. Yes. So it does require
Exactly.
that
And
immersion.
because,
Yeah.
and because I don't know, I I didn't count how many hours we have in a week.
Yeah.
So because
I'll
uh,
tell you. I'll tell you how many.
yes,
I'll tell you in a
yes,
second.
yes.
Yeah.
Please,
So we
that
have 7 times 24, right?
yes.
168 hours.
100 and out of 168 hours, I figure just set aside that goes 10,
That's
so
that's
which
that's
means like
less
okay,
than 10%.
158.
That's less than
Okay, so
10%
like no,
because
no, no,
10% would be 16 hours.
158. Yes, okay, but 158 hours, you are completely immersed in all the should paradigm things. So then it is
Yeah.
necessary to set aside these 10 hours for
Yeah.
yourself. And
Yeah.
of course, it
Well,
is
it's
going to be
168
that's right.
minus 56 for sleeping and eating. So
It,
100
it
hours.
is so then of course it is going to be about of course eating, it is going to be
Right.
about other stuff also, so
Right.
it's
Right.
not,
But
I'm not
but
going
but to make your point, Bina, if we take off that 168 hours, 100 is where we are not doing things like sleeping and eating. It's still 10 hours out of 100 is 10% of your free time, in other words. Yeah, your awake time, not free,
Okay,
awake.
you're missing my point. I'm not saying
Sorry.
about that, okay, how much it is. It is
Oh,
not the percentage of what we are need to
ah.
allocate for that. But I'm saying that why the immersion is necessary, because out of those 168 hours, even if we just allocate those 10 hours to that, we are continuously immersed into the should paradigm. So we
Yes.
need a bit of effort at least. So this is what I'm
Exactly.
trying to say.
Exactly. To unhook from that and to unhook from the paradigm, which is our habits and the paradigm are typically one and the same thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, so we are getting of course you are getting
Yeah.
late.
But Beena, let me just repeat that. Our habits and the paradigm are typically one and the same thing. Please write that down for me in Messenger. Send it to me as a message. I want to add it to my quote file. I never
Okay,
made that specific connection before.
say it again, please.
Our habits and the paradigm are typically one and the same thing.
Okay.
Our habits and the paradigm are typically one and the same thing. Or you can just say, oh, one and the same thing. I'll add in the typically, just my habit of not saying things as absolutes. Hey, what happened here now?
Okay, our habits and paradigm are
Typically the same thing.
typically
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. Oh, somebody responded. Oh, you. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm hearing myself on the other headset with a bit of delay. It's quite amazing. It's quite funny.
Okay. Okay, so gotta go now. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, Beena. Bye-bye,
Yes.
everybody. And
Right.
let's end the meeting here. Yes. All right.
Yes. Okay. Bye for now. See you Sunday.
One day. Yeah.
See
Bye-bye.
you on Sunday.
See you
Yes.
Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
End meeting for all. Yeah. Bye-bye.